It's time to watch another weird movie. One of our favorite things to do on this channel. Today's selection is called The Forest, an 80s horror movie that was supposedly shot in only 13 days. Our main characters are two married couples, Steve and Sharon, and Charlie and Teddy. Steve and Sharon are having marital problems and considering a divorce.
I think I better check on the dinner. Somebody has to.
Charlie suggests that they all go on a camping trip together to try and salvage the marriage.
Listen, we're not talking about Winnebago camping here. We're talking about roughing it.
Yeah, you know, backpacking.
Everyone agrees, but Teddy and Sharon decide they want to go a day early to prove that they can handle camping without men. So they head up to the mountains. Charlie and Steve decide to go up to the mountains the same day anyways. But their truck breaks down and they need to wait for it to be repaired.
Yep. Something went through the radiator, all right. And how much is that going to cost?
And how long to fix?
Not too long. Not too much.
Meanwhile, Teddy and Sharon find a spot to camp. When Steve and Charlie finally arrive in the mountains, a park ranger, who is actually played by the director, tells them to be careful.
You know, over the years, there's been some people ain't come back from in there.
Why not?
Who knows? Fell off a cliff, drowned. The only strange thing is, they're still missing. We never even found their bodies.
It's pretty weird, isn't it?
Now, we're treated to a song while our protagonists try to find their wives. A song called The Forest. That's right. This movie has a theme song.
There's nothing to fear. Is there? People do disappear, but where do they hide? In the dark side of the forest. There's nothing to fear. Is there? People do disappear, but where do they hide? In the dark side of the forest.
Boo! Boo! You suck.
Shut up, Rodney. It starts to get dark and they can't find the campsite.
Besides, whose idea was it for this stupid camping trip anyway? All right! All right, you're sweet on, Daniel Boone.
Now we cut to Teddy and Sharon at a campfire. Some children randomly appear and start watching them. These kids have a weird reverb effect on their voices. It makes them hard to understand sometimes.
Or, let's go. I want to stay here.
Then a woman with a blood mark on her forehead appears.
Have you seen my children? Who the hell was that?
And now we get a scene where the children return to their home, which is some cave. Their dad asks them where they've been, and they tell him about the two women they saw. He grabs a knife.
Daddy's going hunting.
The children try to warn the women, but their dad attacks.
Why do you want to hurt me?
Oh, I don't want to hurt you. But I'm starving to death. I haven't had anything to eat for days.
Teddy is killed, but Sharon escapes. It starts to rain, and Steve and Charlie realize they're lost. They find a cave and decide to stay in it overnight. This cave just so happens to be the cave of our cannibal murderer friend we just met.
Welcome.
Have I ever lived in a creepy cave in the forest? Yes. Yes, I have. And in fact, I live in one right now. I'm saving up for my 5th creepy cave in the forest.
We find out his name is John. He's making a roast and he offers the guys some. Charlie eats it and gets an uneasy feeling. It's like somehow he knows he's eating his wife. Yikes. According to cast interviews, this was an actual roast that fed the entire crew of the movie.
It's pretty good.
Speaking of cast interviews, the director of this movie, Don Jones, says that he took out a second mortgage on his house to fund this movie. When the movie ended up making very little money, he actually lost his house. That's pretty depressing. Back to the movie.
How'd you come to be living here?
That's a long story.
So John tells the guys his life story. He came home early from work one day and caught his wife with another man. She had also locked their kids in the closet. He tells Steve and Charlie that he didn't do anything, but we as the audience get to see the full story. He slammed his wife's head on the table, killing her, and then murdered her lover with a table saw. He then took the children and ran away to the mountains where they live now.
We must leave this horrible place.
So the next morning, John just lets Steve and Charlie leave for some reason, and they go searching for their wives' campsite. They find the campsite, but Sharon and Teddy, of course, aren't there, so they split up to go look for them. Steve ends up falling off a rock and breaking his leg. The children reappear to Sharon and explain that they're ghosts.
How did you die?
We killed ourselves.
Killed yourselves?
They mention that the ghost of their mother is still out there trying to punish them. They explain that their deaths drove their dad crazy, and that's why he's a cannibal now. Night falls once again, and John attacks Charlie.
What's the matter with you, man? Are you crazy? Crazy? Of course I am. We're all crazy.
Charlie puts up a fight, but is ultimately killed by John. The next morning, John attacks Steve, but Sharon comes to his rescue and kills John. The children are then free to enter the afterlife. Their mother is stuck in the forest purgatory, and Sharon and Steve's marriage is saved. Hooray.
Hey, could you get these cameras out of here? I'm trying to lure unsuspecting tourists into my cave.